Hello, everyone. We're continuing our series of shows, introduction of the Book of Zohar. Hello, Dr. Michael Laitman. Hello. This is our third show, and today we'll start with a very important article, which is actually the first article that's called The Rose. It's the first article in the introduction of the Book of Zohar. I'll read an excerpt from the book written by the great Kabbalists Rashbi and his students about 2,000 years ago. The book in general is written in the form of dialogues, stories, and so the names of the authors are present within the article and the book itself. So please, let's begin. It says, Rabbi Chizkiah began, it is written, as a rose among the thorns. What is a rose, is the question. It is the assembly of Israel, meaning Malchut. There is a rose and there is a rose, just as a rose among the thorns is tinged with red and white. The assembly of Israel contains judgments and mercy, just as a rose has 13 petals. The assembly of Israel consists of 13 qualities of Rachamim, mercy, surrounded in all of its sides. Now, clearly, this is a code, clearly. And this is the first article. Why? The thing is that by rose, or the rose, it actually means an assembly of souls receiving some kind of fulfillment from above, from the Creator, then disseminating them to the lower levels, lower layers of souls, until it comes down to our world. But why rose? We talked about the language of roots and branches. A Kabbalist sees a certain spiritual action and its copy or manifestation in our world. Why rose? Well, rose is what seemed, or more clearly, was revealed to them, became evident to them, that the entire spiritual system, as it comes down from the Creator to mankind, it is manifested in a structure like a rose among thorns. So is the mercy of the Creator, and His influence over us consists of two opposite forces, white and red. White is the quality of bestowal, love, and red, to the contrary, is the quality of judgments. But judgments or mercy in relation to what? To the upper system, to those souls, in relation to the upper system that governs the souls. So, at times through mercy, at times through judgments. Yes, and that depends on the people themselves, and this is why they're told about it. So they saw the assembly of all souls in our world, in the form of a rose. Yeah, in the form of a rose. How it cascades and is governed by these two forces. Yeah, and how from its inner state depends the cascading of the upper forces upon it and to all of mankind. And when you say souls, you mean people? I mean people that are internally interconnected between them, even though that they're not aware of it. And this connection between them, the acknowledgement of their connection, general connection, is called a rose. A soul is something that each has his own, or it's the general connection. That general connection of all people in the world is like a rose among the thorns. And that's called soul. And what are the thorns? Thorns symbolize the judgments, harsh governance. That if you don't want to be a rose, like a rose, to spread then you will feel the upper governance through judgments, harsh governance. So, if to express it in Kabbalistic words, then the soul is our inner desires that are always limited in a certain way. That's how we feel them, at least. What are these limitations for? In order to direct us towards a better development, because it depends on the person how to use the negative qualities, harsh qualities in him, the thorns. And precisely thanks to the fact that the rose grows among the thorns, then we too have the ability to correctly use the harsh governance that will be aimed as if against us. But it is in order for us to all the time correct ourselves towards better relations and connection between us. So Chizkiah is asking, what is a rose? And then he says that it's the Knesset of Israel and the Malchut. Well, rose is the external similarity, and the more inner quality is the assembly of all those who wish to connect with one another, thus called Israel, that in the connection between them, by it, want to direct themselves toward the Creator, and that's why they're called Israel, from the words Yashar El, meaning those that are aimed straight toward the Creator, and this way they bring themselves closer in order to rise by their qualities of kindness and good to the Creator. So Knesset in Hebrew comes from the word kinus, assembly, and Israel, Yashar Kel, straight toward the Creator, meaning assembly of people that are aimed to the Creator are called a rose. And why Malchut? Because it's the lowest, but at the same time, most defining part in society. The connection on the lowest level that can rise to the highest level is called Malchut. So it's our connection on our most basic, on our most egoistic desires. Not even basic ones, animate ones, but the most egoistic ones. Yeah? Okay, seems clear now.
Здесь еще, может, такой вопрос. Есть 13 свойств милосердия.
There are 13 qualities of mercy, meaning those that aspire to the Creator, this assembly, they have 13 qualities of mercy surrounding them on all sides. Why 13? That's how it is. That 13 qualities. This is what this assembly of people have, that in the connection between them want to ascend to the Creator. They create amongst them such opportunities for connection to rise to the Creator that all in all there are 13 of them. Baal Sulam explains it in the study of the 10 Sfirot. It's all related to the Sfirot, right? Yeah, okay, we won't get into that, but it's, is it a special number? Because we see it a lot, 13. Of course it's a special number. It says that people use all of their opportunities, options, so that in the good relations between them, they will be able to become like the Creator. In Judaism, 13 is a very happy number, but in the rest of the world, 13. It's the biggest egoistic number, quality of man that he can change from a negative meaning and implementation to a positive one. And then it says that the rose has two states, smallness and greatness. He says that the Katnut, smallness, is the beginning of her formation, in which there is only the Sfira Keter in her. And then he says that Katnut, infinity or smallness, is called a rose among the thorns, since her bottom 9 were emptied from the light of Atzilut and remained as thorns. Gadlut is called plainly a rose, or the assembly of Israel. It's where all of these negative qualities grow and invert into good ones. So, not to delve too deep, but still, as a person, the place of the negative qualities, the thorns, where we wish to go against each other, we start understanding that our correct growth is in us treating each other properly with the help of our petals. And in the spiritual development, what is the state of smallness, katnut, meaning to stop using your negative qualities is the state of katnut, because in that state we can't receive the upper light, and the state of gadlut, greatness, is where we spread out and wish good and wish good to each other and want to help one another, where we rise to the level of the Creator. So, as Rabbi Akiva says, love another as yourself. This is the state of greatness of Gadlut, where you can use all of your desires for the benefit of others. Yes, and when it's just not to harm others, then that's the state of Katnut, meaning you restrict yourself. Can we say that you restrict yourself by these thorns? Yeah.
В Кнесет Исраэль есть суд и милосердие, соответствующие красному и белому цветам розы среди шипов.
There's the...
Почему именно красное и белое?
Потому что есть...
Why red and white? There's red and white in the rose. Why? Because there's mercy and there is judgments.
Когда мы в наших отношениях
The red is the judgments, and the white, to the contrary, where we in our relations push away the judgments and relate to each other only with the help, only through friendship, love, kindness. This is what a Kabbalist feels, that he feels all the love and bestowed in the form of white light, yeah, and all the harsh judgments, yeah, the harsh relations between us, harsh attitude toward one another is the red light. Does it have some kind of impact in our world, that people relate or respond to the red light in a specific way? Well, yeah, actually, there could be, it's like we say, white light. Judgment and mercy, are these the qualities of the Creator or of man? These are the qualities of man, with the help of which we awaken these two qualities from the Creator, in the Creator toward us. The way we relate to each other, this is how the Creator relates to us. And then it says in the Zohar, something completely different. It says, in the beginning, God created God to elicit 13 words to surround the assembly of Israel and to keep her. The heaven and the earth was empty and chaotic, and the darkness over the face of the abyss, and the Spirit, as if, what's the connection between all these words? The thing is that when you start reading the Torah, you start understanding that in it, in a very truthful manner, are decoded all of the relations between us and the relations between us and the Creator. This is actually the only thing that the Torah talks about. What does it mean that the Creator created the heaven and the earth? Heaven and the earth, meaning the upper relation of the quality of rachamim, of mercy, to benefit each other, and the earth, the opposite, the quality of a harsh quality, a quality of... And this way, we exist between these two qualities. So there are two forces, positive and negative. Yeah, two opposite or contradicting forces are operating in us, and we can use them in order to advance toward greater closeness with the Creator. It says that the earth was empty and chaotic, and the darkness over the face of the abyss. If you envision such a picture, pretty, right? Nice. What is that all about? That in the meantime, the earth in that state was in a state of darkness and chaos, meaning it still did not start absorbing into itself the quality of the upper, of the Creator, and the spirit of the Creator hovered over it. So land, it means desire in Kabbalah, right, the general desire of man. And so it was empty, unfilled with pleasure as a result of bestowal to the Creator. And then what does it mean that the spirit of the Creator hovered over it? Meaning that still he didn't start acting in the depth of the human spirit. The second part of this article, what follows is that, this introduction consists of, I think, 13 articles or something like that. And so the next unrelated part, it says, a cup of blessing, item 2, indicates the extension of 5 chasadim within her 5 gvot, meaning gradually cascading from the level of the Creator to the level of the created being, explaining to us how the lower souls are arranged and how they accept the influence of the Creator, the bestow of the Creator upon them. And then he says it must be 5 fingers, not more, the way you hold it. Yeah, with the 5 fingers. And therefore, obviously, in our world, when you hold a cup of wine, you hold it with 5 fingers and you bless over it. What is that? This is explained through such examples that the blessing with which you need to turn to the Creator with needs to consist of 5 qualities. Keter, Chochmah, Bina, Zoranpin, and Malchut. And they need to be connected, like one hand unites within it 5 fingers, the same way you need to take a cup of wine, lifting it, blessing the Creator for Him giving you such an opportunity. It's also interesting that you need to hold it in your right hand in order not to awaken some egoistic desires. The left side. What is that? There are such desires that you mustn't awaken. Where there's the right and there's the left side. The right is the good, the left is the evil. And therefore you need to bless, holding the cup or grail in your right hand. In our world, when a person performs this pretty simple action, like giving a blessing over the wine, does it do something? What does it do? Why do it if we're talking about some inner, tremendous, but inner things? And it all comes down to, this kind of simple tradition, relatively. Yeah. It all comes down to as a simple tradition, but actually, these are very deep actions by which we awaken the upper governance. So actually, if a person understands what he's doing, he can awaken a certain force over his desires and to be corrected that way. Yeah. And then it says, in the end of the article, as the form of the covenant was sawn in 42 Zivugim, couplings, from the seed, The engraved and explicit name was Son in the 42 letters of the act of creation. It's even hard to utter these words. I don't even understand how to put them together. Well, bit by bit, as a person reads it, maybe even more than once, passing it all through himself, he starts understanding a certain connection between the sentences and what are they leading to. So if we can scrutinize it, that the 42 letters of the act of creation, of the 42 letters present, what seed are we talking about? From the seed, the upper light, that brings with it the general connection. What covenant are we talking about between the upper and lower world? And why 42? Meaning 42 times they tried to what? 42 qualities need to unite in order to create the correct contact, connection between the upper and lower world. This already speaks of the world of Atzilut. Meaning 42 qualities and 42 letters, because we know that there are 22 letters. Where did 42 come from? Well, we'll scrutinize that later on. What else can we ask about this? What 42 letters are we talking about? We already said that in the Hebrew alphabet, still I want to find out, there are 22 letters, and there are additional 20. Where do they come from? These aren't letters, these are qualities. So 42 were letters or 42 qualities? Yes. And in addition, 10 of direct and 10 of reflected light. And letters, the letters, they're not letters, they're signs. In the right translation, letter means sign, meaning 22 signs of the connection of the spiritual world with ours. And another 5 letters, additional letters, Kufresh, Shin, Taf, 5 letters that are written only at the end of words. Well, it's pretty complicated, but still, will it be possible to scrutinize this, like you said, the letter Bet? You said that it's not a letter, but that it's a sign, symbol. There's how's it written? The letter Bet. There is the horizontal upper line, then vertical line, then again horizontal line. And you said that that's the heaven, the earth, and the Zeranpin that connects between the two. The heaven is the quality of bestowal, earth the quality of reception, and the connection between them. And this is how all letters of the Hebrew alphabet are included in that letter Bet. Should we scrutinize these? Do we need to know all these things? We'll gradually talk about it, so it'll come freely, easily. So, with these 22 letters, symbols actually, the Creator creates the assembly of Israel, Knesset Israel, meaning the connection between all the souls. Yes. So everything that we're studying about now, if I understand, it was created in potential. Right. It's like in our genes, there's the entire information of the future development of man, including his qualities and everything. Yeah. And then he develops, or a person reveals it throughout life. It's the same thing here, that it all exists in potential, but you need to go into these states and reveal them. Yeah. Okay, so we're almost at the end of our show, the article, The Rose.
Будем ее еще много раз повторять.
We'll read it many times more. Not the article itself, but
Связь между нами.
about the letters, about the connection, the group of letters,
Потому что
groups
все
of
они
letters,
рассказывают, в принципе, о
because they all
строении
actually tell about the structure of the lower world
возбуждения,
that
питания,
receives an
управления
awakening, nourishment, governance from the upper world. What did the students of Rashbi want to tell us? Precisely that, how our world's built, how it receives from the upper world its governance, fulfillment, leading oneself to equivalence of form, to a good, full, complete connection with the upper world. But this is the very first article in the introduction. When I write a book, I try to make it clear for there to be some kind of cause and consequence relation. But here, in the beginning, he writes about some rose, then he talks about God hovers over, then some letters, meaning three items that are as if completely unrelated, three different stories. It depends on where the reader is.
Мы не можем,
So
как сказать,
we
мы не
can't
можем представить себе, что ощущает человек, который
depict
находится
to ourselves what feels a
в
person
высшего и низшего миров.
who feels the connection between the upper and lower world and that receives this information. They wrote it this way on purpose for no one to understand, or they simply had no choice. No, that's how they saw it. They couldn't have written it any other way. Right? There's no special thought behind it. No, not at all.
Кроме того, это действительно написано не для
And besides, it's not written for beginners.
себе современного даже ученого,
Imagine even a contemporary
который
scientist
желает описать какое-то
that would like to explain some kind of phenomena. He uses formulas, definitions that are clear only to those like him. Yeah, the theory of Einstein's relativity is also unclear to everyone. Right. Okay, I understand as much as I could understand. Thank you very much. Till our next show, all the best.